Good morning, everybody. How are you all doing? I hope you are well. I wanted to share a little bit about my morning so far. Normally, as you know, I go out for a walk early, get that taken care of before I start the day. And today I was just sitting. There was no urge to really do anything, to leave the house, to go stick with my normal routine. So I sat with that and I realized there was like an immense grief there, like just deep sadness. And the mind instantly started coming up with all the reasons why there's sadness, why what needs to change in order for it to go away. And yeah, there could definitely be reasons on the personal level that I could attribute sadness to. But as I sat with that energy, which most of us, I don't think we really want to sit with that energy. We'd rather get into like the problem fixer mode or the blame mode, all the things I did wrong, all the things I could have done better, all the regrets. But anyway, I just sat with that and I realized that it was an ancient grief, like an impersonal grief, but a very deep grief. And I also realized that it was a collective grief, that it wasn't my grief. And went a bit deeper into that, went a few layers into it, and there were some hints of anger as well. And in the past 2 years, as a world, as a planet, we've gone through some pretty serious trauma. And the way that the human works is that when it experiences trauma, it represses and suppresses that trauma in order to survive. Many people have lost loved ones. We've had an onslaught of disease in the physical body. Scary things. I had it. It was scary. And physically, like nothing I'd ever had before. Literally. We were isolated from each other. We couldn't travel. We couldn't see one another. People's relationships had fully fallen apart. There were people that refused to see one another because of beliefs or because of their stance on the personal issues that this trauma came with. And COVID changed us in a way that we may still not yet understand, as the world has opened up, very quickly, and all these unprocessed emotions are coming out, and people aren't necessarily really even understanding what's going on. Why they have these blockages up, their guard up, why they're still angry, sad, maybe a little afraid. This video is really just an acknowledgement of the fact that as a human race, we've gone through something extraordinarily intense, right? And I fully and completely acknowledge that there are other parts of the world that are going through, I watched a documentary on the kids in Syria 2 years ago, and they're losing limbs and family members left and right because of all the bombings happening in that region in the Middle East. And obviously we know what's going on in Ukraine. So trauma is just a part of being human. And the reason I'm making this video today is that if you're uncomfortable in your body all of a sudden, if suddenly deep anger or sadness finds you, that even though it may seem like there's no reason to it, or maybe it becomes a personal reason of something that, unfulfilled wishes or losses. However it finds you, however this energy finds you, just know that it's normal and it's a natural processing of, of these very difficult, incomprehensible energies. And be gentle and be kind and be quiet and be present with yourself, because I believe at some deep inner level it is transforming us, transforming our fears of fatality, of loneliness, of abandonment, our fears of there's something being wrong with us, of us not being good enough. All that's coming up and it's presenting itself, it's making itself known, this fragile human, this fragile being, going through life in a way completely unprepared for what could happen, what could arise, what could break, what could hurt, what could scare you. But just know that there's always this deep indwelling presence holding that grief, making space for that sadness, holding you like a mother holds a child, holding the grief in the way that a lover embraces a loved one. That you are held and you are protected by that presence, because what you are is indestructible and untouchable by these apparent movements in time. But it doesn't mean that we don't feel them or that we are bad because we're experiencing them. That's not what that means at all. It just means that energy doesn't go away. Like what we went through with COVID doesn't go away. But it is going to arise, and it is going to be looking for presence, the holy medicine of presence, to alchemize, to shift, to heal, to come home. So, wherever this message finds you today, I hope it lands deep in your heart, and may you know that more than likely, you're not the only one feeling this stuff, okay? Mwah. See you soon.